How to do, everyone? You know who I am, ETTemplar, Supreme Misfit, Professional Dipshit, and in this video I'm talking about a character that I like quite well. He gets such a raw fucking deal, but we're going to talk about him, and this is just AI slop that kind of just guessed at what he looks like. So, Campbell, Finley fucking Campbell. So, he's of Clan Campbell, which I have been at war with Clan Wolf for some time. So he's kind of like a two persona character because there's Finley Campbell and then there's the masked gladiator. So he has a secret life where he's the masked gladiator. There was one before him, so he's kind of taken up this persona. He's like an ass kicking alien killing machine on the gladiatorial like sands, right? So there's that going on, and he has a secret love affair with Evangeline Shrek. Of course, he's already, had an arranged marriage with Adrienne, right? From some other family. So where this is going is House Wolf, spoilers, attacks Campbell's, Clan Campbell. Most of his family gets wiped out in like abhorrent combat in Campbell Tower. It's just like, so he barely gets out with Adrienne being wounded in the fighting. Meanwhile, Valentine Wolf, that little shit, actually like kills two of his own family members so he can be the wolf, right? So he's kind of like just this lovable, hated character, but he's kind of cool too as far as like villains go. So anyways, his family's been wiped out. What does he do now? He just says fuck it. He discovers that Evangeline Shrek is a member of the Resistance, of course. So the Resistance is ELF, Esper Liberation Front. So they're kind of like abolitionists for clones, and it's like a conglomeration of resistance against the Empire. So they're kind of fighting for human rights and essentially the abolishment of slavery for clones and espers. If you want to know what Esper is like a telepath that has powers and has evolved telekinetic abilities. Fire, they can mess with people's minds, and there's clones. So a pretty cool, Deathstalker is a pretty cool universe. But continuing on, can't get madder every time. So he does all these crazy near suicidal missions because he doesn't have much to live for. So he's like essentially just testing his luck and his merit. So he actually assassinates like a key figure within the Empire that's like been like just the evil son of a bitch assassinating and torturing people. And he gets back, and they say they put him on an urgent mission to save a captured Resistance member. And it's a fucking suicide mission. It's they can teleport him into this top secret like underground facility where they're just doing these abhorrent like torture. Now in this world they can essentially hack your mind. And one of these poor the guy they actually cut off a section of his like fucking skull, and they have technology where they can put wires into their brain and they can torture you that way. They can make you feel pain. So it's a way of like screwing with your brain that's worse than actual torture. They can even implant memories, have you relive certain things over and over again. The previous Wormboy Hell site or whatever, they would have people reliving nightmares to where they didn't die. So it was real enough because their brain told them it was real, and they had a parasite put in that alters your brain chemistry to make you think the nightmares you're living is real. So, spoilers, the Resistance killed the Worm Boy, the mutant that ran that facility, and now the Empire has a second facility where this Resistance member is captured and secured. There's like 200, there's like two companies of fucking guys Campbell's kind of cuts through with the help of some espers. And there's even they have unleashed mutants there that have already been fucked with and like just esper mutants. And anyway, so he makes it through all this absolute fucking suicide mission. And aliens attack, which also coincidentally helps him escape. Not so sure about the writing there, but I it would be shitty if the story ended with Finley and this resistance captive dying there. That'd be shitty. So they escape, and Evangeline Shrek says, "Ah, I'm going away for a year." And this is after she promised, if you survive this, we'll be, you know, we'll be a couple, and marry you or whatever. Women, right? But he didn't really go on the mission for her. Well, he kind of did and kind of didn't. But he also wants a like duel with Valentine Wolf, which if that comes down later down in the book, I'm all for that. I hope that's gonna be cool. So Finley fucking Campbell, he's a pretty cool guy, and I'll talk a little bit more about him. Uh, it's funny because when he's with the Campbells, people think he's like just this fop, this like chicken shit that wears like fancy clothes, and but behind the scenes he's like this gladiatorial fucking murdering machine. And it kind of pays off later, right? Because everyone thinks he's this dandy, this chicken shit that only cares about fashion. So when Clan Wolf attacks, they're thoroughly surprised, and his adversaries like get thoroughly surprised because this guy's like a gladiator. He's fought and killed aliens and genetic like mutated creatures in the arena. Uh, so it's just a cool story, and that, of course, he survives this impossible mission for Evangeline Shrek, just to be like, I'm going away for a year, toodaloo, honey. I can't be held accountable to people no more. It's like, dude, if I was fucking Finley Campbell, uh, that'd be some shit. So that's just a little thing about the current Deathstalker series. I'll put up. So I've been listening to it on Audible. Simon R. Green is a fucking awesome writer, and yeah, this is where I've been listening to it on Audible. So if you want to listen to something cool this year, the Deathstalker series. It's a cool sci-fi fantasy novel series. I love the universe so far, and I actually love it more than Star Wars. I think it's far more cooler and developed than the Star Wars books. And I think it's better written, and I like the idea of like futuristic interstellar space clans. And I think Campbell and Wolf, their retrospective families go back to the founding of the Empire. I think it's hinted at humanity leaves Earth, and they find Golgotha, right? And that's where the Empire starts, along with Clan Deathstalker. And uh, Owen and Tyler, I think it is. I hope I'm getting that right. Deathstalker are pretty cool characters. Owen's the son, I think. Let me actually look that up before. Oh yeah, Owen. Okay, yeah, Tyler is the son, but Owen Deathstalker is pretty cool. So if you like action-packed sci-fi fantasy, Deathstalker's definitely cool, and it's a series that I like very much. Sometimes it gets a little bit hardcore as far as just the world and the universe it's set in. So again, it's a 4 out of 5 book for me, but Finley Campbell is a freaking cool character. And same thing with Clan Deathstalker. So the way how he wrote these, Simon R. Green wrote these, it's very cool, and it's a very interesting world. Even Clan Wolf is pretty cool. So there's even some space opera stuff in here with space battles, and the cool thing about it, it's kind of like it's also similar to 1950s, the old movie like Captain Blood, where you have like a sword and a pistol, like kind of swashbuckling, a little bit of that in there with the sword fighting, and there's even like combat um enhancement, like drugs and stuff. I think Valentine has it, and Deathstalker have it to where it's like cybernetics. I know Deathstalker can like boost, where it injects either through genetic mutation or cybernetics, that it enhances their ability to fight, their reaction time, strength, but at the cost of potentially doing damage to yourself. You can actually kill yourself with Boost. So there's just that. There's cool cybernetic stuff. There's kind of horror stuff with the Hayden Men, which are like cybernetic humans. And there's all kinds of cool stuff. There's yeah, I don't want to spoil it, but yeah, that's Finley Campbell and the universe of Deathstalker. Hopefully, you found this interesting. So, in closing, this has to be said. I like this series better than the Star Wars book so far. Um, like I said, like it just seems the world building here in the universe of the Deathstalker is just way more cooler, way more heavy handed, and just more entertaining than the Star Wars universe. Here's a bonus opinion: I would hate to see Deathstalker just turned into a movie, TV show, or an Amazon Prime like series. I would hate that because if you look at what's happening to the Fallout series on Amazon, I'll say this: the one nice thing I'll say about the Amazon Fallout series is that it's entertaining. It's cool to see in-world elements like the Brotherhood of Steel, the power armor, the guns, the legionnaires and certain plot elements, NCR and all that, but the plot and the story is fucking shit. And they're kind of they're betraying the lore of Fallout essentially. And of course, there's heavy-handed political horseshit. They're trying to paint the Brotherhood of Steel up to be like these just toxic male like retards, and that I don't appreciate. But I mean, it is cool to see the Fallout universe in this format. But other than that, I would say stick to the games and the other four. You can still enjoy the show. I still kind of like watching it, like I said, because you can see these things, the vertibirds, the power armor, but the rest is kind of shit. So I would hate for anyone to take the Deathstalker book series like this and fuck it up, unless if it was like personally under the hand and directorship of Simon R. Green. That's the only way I'd be okay with it, because then the lore, the story can be protected. There couldn't be any sneaking in of political messaging or fucking Marxist cultural shit, right? Even though it'd be easy to do with this series, with the like Esper Liberation Front and the clones, like someone could as easily turn it into like some pro-communist shit. But overall, regardless of Simon R. Green's politics or whatever, I don't know. This book series is a fucking awesome read. So if you're looking for something to read that's fun, that's a sci-fi space epic, then I would definitely recommend this. Tons of cool action and world building. And that's all I can say about it. It's very, if you want to get lost in a cool series of books, especially this day and age, how politics are going in my country right now. I think we just recently fucking attacked Venezuela and kidnapped their leader. So again, it's just cool how I came across this series just from a thrift store like book section. And that's one thing I love about the books that I found, is that it's some kind of weird, I just something that guides me, and these books find me versus me finding the books. That's one thing I like about some of the books I find, like the Joe Ledger series that I mentioned before, and this Deathstalker series, is that they found me. I didn't find them. They came across, like, again, thrift stores and library book sales where I find most of my stuff. If you're someone who wants to buy books through Barnes and Noble or Amazon, whatever, I'm not gonna like cool. But I know the thrill of the hunt for me, and when you find something as unique as the Deathstalker and Joe Ledger series, it's very cool. So, anyways, thanks for watching. See you next time. Leave comments, your thoughts, subscribe if you haven't already, and I will see you next time. Take easy. God bless, and
money. We gotta make some money.
The sky whispers.